All right, so this is Coach Chris, which is a quick technique that I love to, or actually a not so quick technique, but a very useful technique that I love to just figure out where pain truly is in our body and start to help to address pain in a more holistic way alongside some of the things that we're doing in order to, roll and stretch and do these things. So this is called a body scan. All right, and what I want you to do is we're just going to lie on your back, or if that's uncomfortable, you can certainly sit in a chair, whatever posture works for you. And we're going to just relax into this position, okay? And we're just going to focus on this for about 5 minutes here, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. All right, I'm going to set a clock for 5 minutes, and we're going to start with the head. And the idea with the body scan, before I get into that, is to kind of pick out areas in our body that are painful, that might not feel good, and then start to use some of our body's relaxation mechanisms to address these areas. All right, so what I want you to do is we're just going to do a quick scan of our body. All right, so starting with our head, starting with the crown of your head, closing your eyes. I just want you to make note of how that feels. Okay, do we feel any pain there? Do we feel any discomfort as we move through kind of the forehead, the temples, the eyes, the cheekbones, the chin, the nose, the underside of the chin. Just paying attention to those areas, just noticing what you feel, what you find, whether there's more tension on one side than the other. And if there is, just making note, not trying to change a thing. For me, I feel my left jaw is a little bit more tense than my right jaw. So I'm just making a note of that so I can canvas over in a minute. Moving down to the neck, same thing, starting at the back of the neck, kind of the left side of the back of the neck, the right side of the back of the neck. Am I feeling any kind of tension or holding of tension or stress in that area? Moving to the sides of the neck and the front of the neck. Again, is there a difference between the right and left side? Do I feel any tension on either side? Going ahead, moving to my arms, starting with my biceps, moving to my triceps, moving to my elbows. What do I feel there? Is there any kind of knots that I feel, or any kind of tingling or tension? Again, not trying to change these, but just noticing that they're there, making a note in your mind. And then moving down my arms further to my hands, my thumbs, my fingers, my forearms, anything there. So which areas feel good, which areas feel kind of neutral, and maybe just normal, and what areas feel kind of just like tense and kind of toned up. Now moving to our upper back, and I want you to think about starting at your upper back and just kind of scanning between your shoulder blades, moving out to kind of your armpit area that colors your lats, and then just moving down your back, kind of noticing segment by segment, is gravity holding our back on the ground, or do we have like a large arch in a certain place? And like for me, I noticed that my upper back can stay on the ground, but right at about, where the middle of my back starts to arch off the ground. So there's quite an arch from, the middle to the lower back, and just making note of, what segments are on the ground, what segments are not. Those are things that ideally, if muscles weren't holding them up, would drop down. So just making a note of that, just thinking about those areas, kind of, sitting in that space, the tension that exists there, making note of that. Scanning across our lower back, looking at the left side versus the right side. Do we feel any holding of tension, any pinching, anything of this nature as we move from the right side of the lower back to the left side? All right, and then we're kind of moving down to our butt or the back of our legs, starting, at our butt area. Is there any tension on the sides or in the back? Moving down the back side of our legs, moving to our calves. Anything there? Do we feel any kind of tension or holding there? Any tightness that I notice? And then finally ending at our heels and our feet. Do I feel any kind of, anything at the bottom of my foot? Any just tension? Do I find that, one leg is turning out versus the other leg? Do I notice differences in maybe the height of my legs? One leg might be up versus down. And then wrapping around to the front of our legs, start going up our shins and towards our knees. How do my knees feel? Do I feel any tension there? Do I feel? Do they feel good? Do I feel some, maybe some pinching in the outsides or the insides? Just making a note of that as we start to move up our quads, moving to our inner thighs. Again, moving up towards our waist and our stomach, just noticing tightness or discomfort or good feelings that we feel there. Finally, kind of like ending in our chest and spreading out to our shoulders. Again, just making note, like my left shoulder feels really good. My right shoulder, doesn't feel anything at all. I feel looseness in my left that I don't in my right. So just making note of that, may mean something, may not. But now, like once we have the knowledge of those areas, I want you to really just keep that in your minds, because now what we're going to do is I want you to think about just breathing deep, as deep as you can. And we're going to think about just a sort of a healing liquid, for lack of a better term, just kind of like a cool blue, it's like, almost like water, just washing over our head, moving down to our forehead, just relaxing over our forehead, and moving to our jaws and our temples, kind of focusing on maybe the one area for me is my left jaw, focusing on feeling that area release and relax as I imagine this relaxation washing over it while I'm breathing deep, moving down to our neck, surrounding our neck with this relaxation, taking a little bit of time to breathe into that, moving down our arms, starting with the biceps, moving to the elbows, the forearms, feeling this relaxation kind of pull the arms apart, let them sink into the ground, some's melting into the ground as I move to my upper back, and just feel this relaxation kind of washing down my lower back through my upper back through my shoulder blades, and in particular just kind of washing over those segments that don't want to drop down, taking some time to breathe into them, feeling them drop down even further. Just feel my back let go of the tension that exists as I move down, continuing to wash across my lower back from the left side to the right side, letting it relax, kind of feeling my glutes letting go as this relaxation washes down backs of my legs, my hips, my butt, down to my ankles, my Achilles. Taking some time to just breathe into this area. Imagining each area in your mind as you're breathing, imagining the area relax. Letting this relaxation start to flow into your toes and flow up the front of your legs until we hit our knees. Again, just washing over and through our knees. We're imagining them letting go of any tension and pain that exists. Washing up my legs. Again, just feeling these muscles letting go as I continue up my stomach and through my chest and shoulders. Again, just picturing these areas. Breathing into them. Just taking deep breaths in. Deepest breath as I can as I just, again, let these areas melt into the ground and release tension. And again, that's really what we do with Bodyscan, and that was a very quick one. I'm going to send you a couple different recommendations that I have for ones that I like. But doing this is really twofold. It helps us to understand where we have a lot of tension in the moment. It also gives us a tool to start to disperse that tension and thinking about it, letting go. And that's very powerful because a lot of this tension that is created, or this pain that is created, is in your mind as well as your body. So using your mind to consciously tell yourself to let go and relax is something that I want you to do for the next couple of days. Use this, or use one of the ones that I recommend, and just let things release, let go, and relax. And just see how that affects you. Whether you see any difference at all, whether it's good or bad. Report back to me. Let me know how it goes. I really hope this was helpful. Enjoy.